Hi, good morning. This is Amita, and it is Tuesday morning tips. So, I wanted to talk a little bit. Last time, my last video, I talked about self care and self soothing, and we did a little mini body scan meditation. Today, I wanted to touch a little bit on ego and how our egos can get in the way of having a good, healthy, positive, supporting relationship. So, what we know is that oftentimes when people are in a relationship, initially they're very happy with each other. They are, they agree with everything that their partner says, and it's a we against the world kind of a situation. But as time goes on, we start noticing things that we don't like about our partners and things that we don't agree with. So at that point, we often get into the mindset of my way is the right way. And when that happens, we start to create a me against you situation, and that does not fare well for relationships. Now, that being said, I'm not suggesting that you agree with your partner blindly, even if it is something that you are totally opposed to. But I think it's important to make some conscious choices, and by conscious choices, I mean um, make a decision. Is it important enough of an issue for you to voice your disagreement, or is it something where you can just let it go? So I had read this article where they had researched or interviewed married couples who had been married for 50 years or longer. And one of the women, one of the wives, they said, what is the secret to your marriage? And she said, well, sometimes you just have to look out the window. And so the interviewer was like, what do you mean? She said, well, you're driving in the car with your husband, and he starts saying something or doing something that you are just, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that. Well, instead of bringing it to their attention and causing a conflict, you just look out the window and you admire nature. And sometimes that's what we have to do. So I think it's important that we remember sometimes the success of marriage comes from looking out the window and not engaging in every single thing that we may disagree with our partners on. The other thing is about ego. So what do I mean by ego? Ego gets in the way of our relationships, healthy relationships, good relationships. Ego is where we feel threatened if somebody disagrees with us. So, you say something and the other person disagrees, and your instinct is to then dig your heels in and defend your position. So, if you look a little bit deeper into that issue, what you will find is if you truly believe in your opinion, if you truly believe in your point of view, do you have to have the need to defend it? If you are so convinced that you are correct, then what is the reason for you trying to defend it? If it's correct, then it's correct. Whether your partner or your friend or your coworker agrees with it or not, it is still correct because you know it. You know it in your heart of hearts, and you know it because you've done the research, you've read articles, or whatever the reason may be. You know that what you are saying is correct. Then you don't need to defend your position. If somebody else says, oh, I think you're wrong. Oh, okay. You don't have to agree with them either. You just say, okay, and let that go. People who become very, very adamant and very, you know, militaristic about their opinion usually are people who are not totally convinced that they are correct. And they see this opportunity as, I have to defend my position, because if I don't defend my position, then I would be proven wrong. And I can't possibly be wrong, because if I'm wrong, then my worth and value is diminished. Well, most healthy, psychologically healthy individuals know and they accept that we are not correct and we are not right in everything that we say and do. There are things that we don't know about, and there are things that we may have had misinformation about. We may be wrong about certain things, and that's okay. That is what makes us human. So, accepting that we are wrong about something does not diminish our value and worth. It actually shows us to be a strong, confident human being who accepts themselves for who they are. So, when you encounter someone, so there's a story, I like telling little stories. So, a wise man was giving a lecture somewhere, and he was some sort of a, sage or something. And this very educated, rich individual came up and he said, "What would you say is the secret to happiness?" And so the wise man said, "Well, not to argue with an unintelligent person." So the rich, smart, educated man thought, and he said, "I disagree with you." And the wise man says, "You're right." So that is kind of what we're talking about, is that you don't have to always have the last word. You don't have to always defend your point of view. That can sometimes cause conflicts that are unnecessary and avoidable. Sometimes you just say, "Oh, okay," and just let it go, because you know in your heart that you're right, and that's all you need to be concerned with. You don't need to be concerned with correcting every individual that challenges your point of view. And the more we are able to do that, the more we are able to be selective on what we think needs to be defended and what can be let go, the happier we're going to be. So I hope this little Tuesday tip on how to manage relationships and relationship conflicts and how not to let your ego get in the way of having a good relationship is going to help you. Take care, subscribe, and leave your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.